Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. In today's tutorial we are going to be still playing the color challenge and diving in depth within the color challenge, and in today's episode we're going to be featuring the black deck. Of course, I already posted a video about the blue deck and a video about the white deck, an in-depth guide about both, how to play blue, how to play white, the different game styles around them, and the final deck list basically. So we're going to do the same thing around black this time, and we're going to play the games, and after that we're going to construct the deck to the best way possible, the black deck that we acquire. And then we go from there. Like through the gameplay, I'm going to be taking you through different play styles that revolve around black, and the multitude of things that you can do with the color. So what's black color? Black color is usually, if you take a look at the list, it usually revolves around basically death, right? Killing creatures, removal, and just having a variety of different archetypes within the color. Of course, within the color you'll see a different archetypes of like zombies, vampires, demons. You'll see skeletons. You'll also see humans. You'll also see rats. A lot of things, right? Color usually revolves around removal, benefiting off of removal, and it can serve within a multitude of game styles, right? You can play black with control, which is basically to be able to control the game to the highest extent, and then you present a win con and you try to win with that win con. A win con is usually is usually a card that you win with, right? So that's what a win con is, for example. So you can play black within control, you can play black within mid-range. Mid-range utilizes the best of both worlds. You have a healthy amount of removal and a healthy amount of threats, not really too focused on control, but not too focused on playing a lot of creatures and winning that way. No, you have the best of both worlds, sort of, within mid-range, and also you have big stuff that you might cast that's also that you can that's also called mid-range, right? So you can play black within mid-range and you can play black within aggro is basically playing a lot of creatures or being very aggressive, hence the word aggro, at the start of the game. Very low curve, and by low curve I mean like a lot of 1-drops, 2-drops, and 3-drops, and maybe even 4-drops. Low curve is what suits aggro the best. They try to kill you as early and as fast as possible. You can even utilize black that way. So black has a lot of utility, unlike other other colors. For example, green is not really that good when it comes to control. It's not good at all actually, while as blue is very good when it comes to control, but blue is not good when it comes to aggro, right? Because blue doesn't have that aggro side to it. While black serves as, like, for me and in my opinion, it serves as like the middle ground, right? You can go about it being aggressive, you can go about it being kind of controlling, since it has a lot of removal and like spot removal, which means, for example, this card, right? Cruel Cut. It can remove a creature for 2 mana that has power 2 or less. This is called spot removal, when you remove a creature for 1 and you're targeting that creature. Anything besides spot removal is usually removing a multitude of things or things that you don't target. So a black has a lot of that, right? For example, murder here, 3 mana, destroy target creature. No matter how big the creature is, no matter what it does, you pay 3 mana to kill a creature. That's what black does usually. So let's dive into the deck. Let's play all these games, and let's take you through all the different mechanics. Black also has a very important and loved mechanic within the Magic players, which is discard, right? Black has a lot of discard. Black has what we call hand hate, and hand hate is when you activate spells that force your opponent to discard a card. So with this hand here, I love this hand. This hand has a lot of synergy. Black also is very popular with the color Death Touch, and Death Touch says any amount of damage a source with Death Touch deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. So let's say a 6/6 creature is attacking, a creature with 6 power and 6 toughness is attacking, and you only have this creature to block with. You block this technically dies while the 6/6 doesn't, but this dealt 1 damage to that 6/6 and it has Death Touch. that is going to be enough to kill that creature. So you have to be careful when you're playing against Death Touch. You can't really just attack into a Death Touch creature, because no matter how big your creature is, it can get blocked and it can get killed. So within this hand here, I like this hand mainly for the fact that we have synergy, right? This has Death Touch, which is able to kill creatures. We also have removal in hand, which we can hopefully kill creatures with by giving them a -1 and -1, and then this card combos with itself, because the more you have of this card in the graveyard, the more -1s you can give to a certain creature, while as this creature over here benefits off of our opponent's creatures dying. So we're gonna play this, and we're gonna attack since our opponent has nothing on board here. So whenever a creature that our opponent has dies, this is going to get big, because that's the effect. The most important thing, guys, in Magic is sequencing, knowing what to play first, how to prep for your next turn, how to prep for your opponent's next turn, just having in-game knowledge, basically. So what I'm going to do here is that I have this, I want to kill that, I can kill that with this card, but at the same time I have another copy of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a land, play the other copy of this, and then what we're going to do is kill that. Our sequencing is that shows you have to get these out first before you kill something, so these creatures can get big. They get a +1/+1 counter every time a creature our opponent controls dies. So we're going to kill our opponent's creature by giving it -1, and then our creatures are going to get big. This is healthy sequencing. This is how you gain value, this is how you stay ahead, and this is how you basically win games. So they play another creature here, which is fine. All we have over here is well, we have, so here's the thing with green revolves around big creatures. So it's already turn 3, almost about to be turn 4 for our opponent. This is how we have to keep this is how we have to prepare, and keep in mind that, you know, what's the follow-up for our opponent. So by turn 4, it's most likely that they're going to play a creature with 3 toughness or more, a big creature, because that's what green is. So we can no longer use this on a big creature unless we want to basically give it that -1 until end of turn without killing it. So what I'm going to do is just use it on the creature that also ramps them. It's very important for you to pay attention. They're trying to ramp here. And by ramping, I mean giving extra mana to themselves so that they can cast bigger stuff, right? So that's all that they're playing here. We're just gonna attack through here. Yeah, they're gonna take the block on the 1/1. Their creature dies here. They're almost dead. We're gonna play a land. We drew a Demon of Loathing, which is 7 mana. We can't play it at the moment. We only have 5, and they have nothing to play here, which was pretty easy for us. So you see how big our creature's gone? Mainly because we were able to kill our opponent's creatures. So green has ramp. Ramp is when you give yourself more mana to put yourself ahead when it comes to mana, and usually the person that's ahead with mana is ahead with the game, because now they can cast bigger spells, and bigger spells usually have more value than smaller spells, of course. So we beat green here pretty easily. We're gonna play against white, see how it goes. White usually has a lot of creatures. White has possibly the best removal, even better than black. And once you get more and more into the game here, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So we're gonna play a swamp here. We're gonna play a skeleton here because it's our turn 1 play, and we have a Savage Gorger here. All right, we're gonna attack because they have no blockers here. So we have instants. These cards we can cast anytime, right? An instant spell, an instant speed spell you can cast at any time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kill this with my instant speed spell. I'm going to use my spell during our opponent's turn. It's only instant speed spells that you can use during your opponent's turn or anytime, or spells that have flashing. So over here, I'm going to play this. It says at the beginning of your end step, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So that means we need to attack, right? So that at the end step, we put a +1/+1 counter on it every time our opponent loses value or loses life. Alright, they play another one of those. That's fine. We can no longer kill it at the moment. So what we can do here, it can block our creature and kill it, because our creature can only deal 1 damage to that creature. So we're going to attack with the flyer here. And flying goes over the top, and it can only be blocked with creatures with flying or reach. We're going to pass our turn here. This is going to continue to get big here. Alright, they played another one of those. Sure. They gain 1 life thanks to their effect. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, they gain 1 life. Alright, so we're not drawing anything here besides lands. So what I'm going to do is just continue to attack with the flyer, deal that damage slowly, and grow our creature slowly. They can't block it because they don't have a creature with flying or reach. They play a priest. So this is what I'm going to do. The priest, once it enters the battlefield, they gain 2 life, and every time they gain a life, they put a +1/+1 counter on the priest. We need to remove that. So before, as these are on the stack, the effects of these creatures on the stack to give this +1/+1 counters, they're prepping, right? They sequenced very well. They played these first so that their creature can gain value off of them. I'm going to use my instant speed removal spell and remove the Hallowed Priest by giving it a -1/-1. So now they do gain the life, but their creature doesn't get big, which is exactly the point for me here. I'm going to play a land. We draw another removal here. It can give -2/-2 now because we have the same card in the graveyard, and it uses its own effect that way. So what I'm going to do here is just attack with the flyer. Still, I'm not in a hurry. I don't want to do any combat tricks here. I'm going to continue to grow this. Alright, they played another one. We're going to do the exact same thing here. This is a very big threat that I am not willing to deal with here. So I'm just going to kill it right away. Now they're just gaining life while doing nothing basically. So this is pretty good. We have another copy of this. I'm going to attack with it. Whoops. Nope. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to attack with this only. Now I'm going to play the other copy here before the end step so that it starts growing with the other one. And the reason why they're getting so big is because we're dealing damage every turn. Nice. Alright, so what we're going to do here, I think they take the block on both of these, they kill them, right? So we still don't want to attack with these, although we can just... Yeah, we don't need to attack with these, sure. Alright, I'm going to play the other land here. They get bigger still. It's very, very good. So they gain life. Their priest gets big. We have no removal at the moment, which is good. Well, we still won anyway because we have flyers and they can't block these flyers, right? So very, very easy. When you're trying to get through the color challenge, it's super easy. You gotta pay attention what to play first and how the sequencing in the rest of the game is going to go like. And what to remove also. Like black has a lot of removal, so you don't remove just everything that you see. You remove the important things. That's what it is. So we kept their engine cards on the battlefield, which are the creatures that gain life, but we removed the creatures that benefit off of them gaining life. So that's what it is. All right. So let's play against red here. We're almost done with this. Let's play against red. Red usually revolves around aggression, burn damage. Red has also flyers and creatures with haste. Creatures with haste can enter the battlefield and attack or activate abilities in the same turn as though they didn't have summoning sickness. Because as you know, every creature enters the battlefield with summoning sickness on the first turn they enter the battlefield. And with summoning sickness, you can't attack or activate their abilities here. So, okay, so they lead with a 2/2 goblin. That's pretty good for them. What I'm going to do here... So I'm going to combat trick this, and this is how it shows. So this gives -1/-1, which means we can't really kill our opponent's creature. But we're going to bait them into blocking this. So what we're going to do here is attack, bait them into taking the block here. They try to take the block. Before they deal the damage, we don't want to lose our creature. Before they deal the damage, I'm going to use my instant speed spell, make it a 1/1, and kill it that way. And I'm just going to pass my turn. Alright, so we're basically going to do the same thing here. Now at least we can kill it, but now I think I'm going to use this here. Alright, so we're going to attack again, same thing, right? They take the block. We're going to use our instant speed spell. This time it gives it +2/+0, and it has indestructible. So no matter how much damage it gets dealt or targeted by spells that say destroy, it won't get destroyed thanks to the indestructible mechanic. See? So it took 2 damage, but it can't be destroyed thanks to indestructible. It says effects that say destroy don't destroy a permanent with indestructible, and if it's a creature, it can't be destroyed by damage. So at the end step, our creature is going to heal and go back to the same toughness that it already had. Alright, so they're playing the same thing here. They're about to pass here. So since we already have one of these in the graveyard, now every time we cast one of these, it deals -2, -2. So we're going to use it to remove our opponent's creatures. That's pretty good. Alright, so what we're going to do here is attack. And then on our second main step here, I'm going to play Vampire Opportunist and pass. Alright. They play a 2-3 here. Pretty good still for us. We drew another one, which is very, very good here. So what we're going to do is attack with all. See how they take the block. They take the block on this. Very straightforward. We're going to do the same thing. Give it more power and give it indestructible so that when it's dealt damage, it doesn't die. Alright. Sure, let's attack first. See if they have anything in hand. It's always best if you attack first. Try to bluff your opponent. Try to see if they have removal for your creatures, or they might be more inclined to remove your creatures. And if that's so, it's better for you so that when you play your big threat, you don't really lose a lot of value if they try to remove it. So they did have removal, but it's not big enough to remove our Nightmare here, which is pretty good. Alright, so we're going to continue to attack here. Very, very straightforward. Going to play a Swamp here and just pass. I should have played this. See, that's a prime example of why sequencing is very important. I could have played a Swamp there. My Nightmare Horse would have gotten bigger and we would have dealt more damage. So you should always read your cards and know exactly what to do first every turn and every time you want to do something. So over here they killed my creature, but I can buy it back thanks to its effect. They pass. Alright, no land. What I'm going to do here is just attack. If we would have drawn a land there, we would have played it. But I'm going to play my Outrider here by discarding this. And when this gets discarded, we can get it back, right? So Outrider says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card. So we discarded the perfect card that we can buy it back from the graveyard thanks to its effect. And yeah, so they're attacking, which means that's pretty much game. They have a flying dragon that has haste that was able to attack the same turn it entered. So let's just finish this game real quick here. Pretty good. Pretty good. That was very, very easy. Alright. So let's move into the color green here, I believe. No, we played green already. Let's move into, I think it's blue here. Always hit upgrade deck. It's just giving you some new cards to add to your collection. Yeah, let's play blue here. Blue should be very interesting. Blue has a lot of flyers. Blue has card draw, which means cards that you cast that enable you to draw more cards. And the more cards you have, the more spells you're going to cast, and the more ahead you're going to be. Okay, so they played a flying creature. We have a decent hand here. We're going to lead off with our turn 1 play, which is the rat here. Okay. Yeah, they're going to attack here, which is pretty good for them. What I'm going to do is play our Cold Blade here. And do we bait the attack here just to grow our Cold Blade here? What do you think? You think we should bait the attack? If they take the block here, we're going to grow our Cold Blade here. So I think we should turn up the aggression a little bit. See, it has 3 toughness, but it dies anyway because our creature has Death Touch. So no matter how much damage it deals to it, it's going to end up dying. Yeah, so they're having a lot of flyers, which can be pretty hard for us to get through. What I think I do here is we play the Mardu Outrider here by discarding a card. And I'm not going to attack, and I'm not attacking because once this enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. So we're going to end up killing that creature, and by killing that creature, this creature is going to get bigger. So we can wait 1 turn, but the payoff is going to be better because all they have for now are 2, 2, and 1, 1. So we're just going to wait because they might trade with my Cold Blade, and I still want to grow it. Alright, they play another one of these. Okay. So you might end up killing this instead because it has 2 power, right? Killing one of these is not a problem. Yeah, so they attack with both here. Very interesting here so far. Alright, so this is pretty good here. We're going to play this for sure. Resolve it on turn 4. We're going to deal 1 damage to these here. Our Cold Blade is going to get big, and we're going to attack with both of these, of course. Alright, so we're turning up the aggression here, as you can see. We have a pretty decent board here. They're drawing cards, they're playing creatures. That's very good for them. Alright, they're attacking as well. We need to turn up the aggression a little more. So what does this do? This says enchant creature. Enchant creature has lifelink, and whenever a creature in opponent control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So lifelink is the mechanic that says damage dealt by a creature, planeswalker, or spell. Anything that might have lifelink also causes its controller to gain that much life. So whenever you deal damage, whether it's to a creature or a planeswalker or a player, wherever it is, whenever you deal damage, you gain life equal to the damage that you dealt. So this gives lifelink, and it also says whenever a creature an opponent control dies, put a +1/+1 counter. So what I'm going to do is usually give lifelink to my biggest creature so you can gain the most life. This is going to help turn the game around here, so I'm going to give it to the Mardu Outrider. Before we kill anything, I'm going to use my Compound Fracture, but before that I'm going to check my graveyard. I don't have another one. Sure, I'm going to use my Compound Fracture on this, so that when it dies, both of my creatures here grow thanks to this enchantment effect. And we're going to attack here. Of course, we're going to end up gaining life. We're going to gain 6 life because that's how much we dealt. And this is how we managed to turn the game around, while our creatures are still getting big because their creatures are dying. So it's pretty good. So this here says return target a creature to an opponent's hand, which is unfortunate. And of course, whenever a creature that was enchanted leaves the battlefield, whenever it leaves the battlefield, we lose the enchantment or the aura that was enchanted to it. So what I do here, I think, is just attack with all, try to bait them with a block here. Yeah, so since they block that way, I'm going to target it with my instant speed spell so that I don't lose my creature here. Alright, so they're down to 2. This is continuing to get big here. We're going to return this to hand because we can no longer cast this, right? And I think 3 attackers to 2 attackers. Alright, I'm gonna pass here because I want to discard this for the Outrider, right? Alright, they played possibly their 4th or 5th copy of this. 4th copy, yeah. Yeah, they're still attacking. It's a computer generated. Usually players are not gonna attack when their life total is this low here. So what we're going to do is just put an end to this because they only have 1 blocker, so they can only block 1. Oh, that's pretty good for them. Alright, so they turned the game around. But, okay, that's very, very interesting here. Alright, so we're going to cast this by discarding a spell. Wow, that was actually very, very close here. Oh, wow. They actually managed to beat us. Wow. That's crazy. They drew the perfect card at the end there, which is fine. It's okay. So, despite the fact that we gained life, it seems like it wasn't enough, you know? Having many creatures that pose a threat is usually better than one really big creature. So this is actually a very good advice here. But at the same time, for me, I needed to gain the most life as possible. So I wanted to put it on the biggest creature that I have. Usually, it is better to invest among all of your creatures and get them all big, so you can have multiple big threats, than to have only one big threat that gets bounced, as shown, for example. So we're gonna play that again. We're gonna play the blue deck again. It's fine. I guess we just didn't draw good. It's okay. It happens. It's a big part of Magic to actually. So yeah, it's starting the same thing. It's all computer generated here anyway. So I guess the sequencing was just bad. But the same thing is going to happen no matter what. I'm still gonna attack with this. Grow my Cold Blade here. Yeah. I'm going to attack with this. They're going to take the block. I'm going to grow this. Next turn, I'm going to play the Outrider. The turn after, the Archer. So it should be pretty decent here for us. Alright. Huh. Okay, instead of discarding this, I'm gonna discard a land here. Alright, no attacks. No attacks. We have to remember, we have to grow this, right, by killing our opponent's creatures. So they have flyers, which is very hard for us to block, right? They have multiple flyers here as well, which is fine. Next turn, we're gonna play a land. We're gonna play the archer here. We're gonna take down one of these flyers because it deals 1 damage to any target. Alright, we're gonna deal damage and we're gonna attack all in here. They let it through. They're down to 12. Let's see what they decide to play here. Another seer. That's fine. They draw a card. And then another one of these. Sure. Alright. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use their advice, right? Which is to not invest on the biggest creature that we have. What I'm going to do here is equip this to the archer. And I'm going to kill this, basically, by growing these other two here. And we're going to attack. I'm also going to play this as an extra threat here. Our creatures are going to continue to grow here because their creatures are dying. Now I'm going to play this and just pass. So they're going to end up bouncing something here, which is very apparent. The exact same thing that happened last game. They're going to bounce the archer here because it has lifelink, and lifelink can gain its life, right? That's still fine though. I'm going to replay the archer here. And we're going to deal 1 damage to, I guess, the one with the 2 power, right? Because it's dealing a lot of damage. Alright, so since I'm going to attack with only this, since they can easily chump this and kill it, right? But we take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright. Actually, I'm going to attack both of them and offer the trade. Oh, they let it through because they don't want to trade. So, yeah. So, okay. So, this is the better sequencing here, which is to basically invest on the board, but not on only one creatures, so that you don't lose a lot of value when it gets tempoed, which is either bounced, tapped, or anything like that. So, perfect. So, we hit upgrade deck here, and we're down to our last game. I think our last game is with a random player, so it's not computer generated. So, within the last game, you usually decide whether you want to take a mulligan or keep a hand, which is a part of Magic, and it happens in every at the beginning of every game. So let's see if we like this hand. We have 2 lands, we have removal, we have Archer, Opportunist. I think I like this hand because it's a 2-land hand, right? It's relatively low curve, which means it has a lot of 1-drops and 2-drops. So I'm going to keep this. The highest thing in our hand is a 4-drop, but every other thing in hand here we can cast. So they're playing green. That's fine. I'm gonna lead with the creature here, of course, because the creature is the threat and it gets the attacks going. I'm gonna hold up my removal here. Let's see what we can do here. Playing green, that's fine. Alright, so I'm gonna play yeah, I'm gonna play this, right? Because getting this down is very important as early as possible. And we're gonna attack. Alright, so they're running 100 and more than 100 cards, multiple colors. This is very bad. Usually it's not very ideal for you to run more than 60 cards because your land to spell ratio gets really affected. And as you can see, if they're running more than 1 colors with a lot of basics, not enough mana to be provided for their other colors or their other spells, it's just a nightmare. So what I'm going to do here is hold up my 1 mana instant by playing something here. We can also hold up murder here, but it's fine. We can play this on our turn as well. So let's see what they're playing here. They're comfortably playing 1, 2, 3. They're playing 4 colors. They're also playing Room Crab here. So the sequencing here was bad. They should have played this first so that they trigger landfall whenever a land enters the battlefield. Land 4 trigger occurs. Alright, they put a +1/+1 counter on it. So this creature mills a lot, right? And by mill I mean you you basically mill 3 cards. So you put the top 3 cards of your library into their graveyard. So they can actually abuse this effect by having us mill a lot and eventually running out of cards. And once you run out of cards to draw off of from your deck, you lose the game. So I'm going to kill this also to grow my creature here. And we're going to keep applying that pressure every turn, keep dealing that damage every turn, and we still hold up. Okay, so they decided to quit. That's pretty good. So I guess they were relying on that creature, and by killing it, we ended their game plan. So usually that's what it is. Nice. All right, so we got evolving wilds. We got some wild cards which we can later on trade for a card, which means we use the wild cards to craft cards. All right, so we finished the deck here. So what I'm going to do is go to decks here, go to my decks, and we unlock the blacklist. So let's finish off the blacklist. Usually it's very important, like I say in every tutorial, it's very important to have 60 out of 60 cards. That puts you ahead when it comes to consistency, right? The amount of lands, the amount of spells. When you have 67 cards, it's going to be very hectic for you. So what I'm going to do here is cut the bad cards and keep the good ones, right? So I immediately think this is a bad card because it's low impact card, so I'm cutting it here, right? Malakir, a Cold Blade, we can focus on this card and focus on growing it, right? So what we can do here is we can craft 4 of these, right? Let's apply styles first. Craft 4 of these. We have 6 common wild cards that we can trade for 2 to finish off this creature here. So we're gonna craft 4 of these, and I'm gonna craft a 4th one of these, right? We're gonna hit craft all. We're gonna turn one of our 2 uncommons into a creature here. So we focus on the Death Touch that can kill creatures, and we focus on this that can get big after every time we kill a creature here. So what also I'm going to do here, this is an uncommon. We need more removal, I'm guessing, here within this list. So I think I'm going to actually craft another one of these, right? Cruel Cut. It kills a creature. So I'm going to craft another one of these, and I'm going to cut one of these. Think here. I don't like this creature that much. I think a 1 mana 1/2 is relatively decent. It has some synergy with the Outrider because when we discard it, we can get it back. But at the same time, I think I'm going to cut this and just focus on this strategy right here. 1 kills and 1 benefits off of creatures dying. And I think I do like this. I don't think it's bad necessarily. We also still need to cut 6 cards. So this one is pretty good. It deals damage up to how many swamps we have, and this one here says whenever a creature dealt damage by this vampire this turn dies, put a +1 counter on it. Not sure about this one, to be honest. Not really sure about this one. It's a 5 mana 4/4. It also has flying, which can be pretty good here. This one draws you cards for 6 mana, which is draws you 2 cards, and then it says each player loses 2 life. So I'm gonna cut the Demon of Loathing here. I'm deciding to cut this as well, but let's put it to the side here. Let's put that to the side. That's 3 cards. We're going to need to cut 2 more cards here. I think. How do we make this excel? So since we cut the creature that gets discarded, I'm gonna cut 2 of these, right? I'm gonna cut 2 of these, and I'm gonna cut these. I like this the best here. We don't need to draw spell, right? We really don't. We need stuff with flying. This has flying. This has flying and trample. These are game enders. Well, to this, when it comes to this power level here, this one deals damage, so this one can close out a game whenever it hits a battlefield. This one is a decent 4-drop, right? We can also cut this, right? So what we can do, yeah, we can cut this, but this can deal 1 damage to any target, which can end up killing a multitude of creatures. So what I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put this at 3, put this at 3, because this is a very good, like, it's a 5/5 for 3 mana, right? It has to be pretty good. So here, all right. let's see, what else can we do here? What else can we do? So we can include one of these and cut one of these, right? We can cut one of these. So we have a pretty healthy 3 mana creatures here. We have a flyer here, right? We have flyers here. Yeah, I think this is a very versatile deck. So I'm happy with the list here. I'm happy with the different stuff that we can do with this list. This can give lifelink. These can give indestructible, which ends up protecting our creatures, and it does a combat trick because you can cast it at instant speed at any moment, whether it's through combat, through their turn, through your turn, it doesn't matter. This is a very good turn 1 play, followed by this, and whenever this kills a creature, this can get big. Whenever this kills a creature, this can get big, and also whenever murder kills a creature, this can get big. And then we will always have like lands to discard for this or something, right? So it's not a problem. This also goes over the top and deals damage, so we have a healthy amount of flyers. This deals damage. This is a flyer for 5 mana. That's a 4/4. Also pretty good. This can end games depending on the state of the game and how low their life points are and how many swamps you have, all thanks to its effect. This goes over the top, of course, and its power and toughness are equal to the swamps that we control. And this closes out a game in a couple turns, right? So pretty good so far. This is the list that I'm sticking with here, and this is what we're doing here. So I hope I was very informative. Usually it's Death Touch. Another mechanic that has to do with the black color is Menace. Menace is very popular with black. Let's write Menace here. We don't have a card that has Menace here, which is not a problem. We can hit not collected and just look at any example here. So this creature, for example, it has Menace, and Menace says a creature with Menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So whenever a creature with Menace attacks, it can't be blocked with only 1 creature. It has to be 2 or more creatures that block that creature. So a creature with Menace can sort of dodge creatures if that's how you paint the picture in your mind. Let's say they have a creature with Menace can go around it and attack instead of over it with a flying, or on top of it with flying. But if they have 2 creatures, your creature can't really dodge them and attack through them. Both of these creatures can end up attacking or blocking the creatures with Menace. So Menace is a very prime example of black decks, right? These are all cards that you don't currently probably have in your collection, but you can slowly start investing into your collection by turning these golds. There's a lot you can do with gold, of course. You can invest into packs. You say get packs, for example, or you can go to the store by clicking on the store signal here. Clicking on the packs option at the bottom, and then these are all the sets that you can purchase the packs. Of course, the red highlighted ones are ones that are not currently in standard, and standard is the most how do you say it, the most present format, let's say, the format that's being played at the moment. There's of course a historic format, which is a format for older sets that you can invest in later on if you like, and if that's your go-to format, of course you can play that. But standard are all of these at the moment. Of course, when it comes in a month or two, we're going to rotate out, so most of these sets are going to rotate out. So if it was my advice, I'd say start investing in New Capenna, Kamigawa, New Capenna, Midnight Hunt, and Crimson Vow, I guess, and that'll be good for now. But anyway, you can complete daily quests, gain more gold, trade the gold for packs, and the more packs you open, the more wild cards you get, and the more wild cards you get, the more you'll be able to invest into more decks, more cards, more strategies. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's been helpful for you. If it has, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, I provide private coaching sessions. So if you're ever trying to get into a different format, if you still don't understand a lot of things about the game, I'm still going to make a lot of tutorials. It's just for now we're trying to get this through this color challenge by presenting a video on it every day. I think tomorrow is either Let's see. So what's for tomorrow? I think tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow is going to be the red color, and then the day after is going to be green, and that is going to do it for us when it comes to the color challenge. So yeah, once we get done with the color challenge, we'll proceed with a more complex and in-depth tutorials that have to do with, for example, 2-color decks, 3-color decks, different mechanics. We're still going to put out tutorials here and there. So yeah, with that being said, you can also support the channel by becoming a patron, and also you can join the channel by becoming a member. And once you become a member, we'll start streaming every day, and once we stream every day, you'll be informed every day as well, right? By just watching me play, watching my analysis on different games and different strategies as well. So yeah, with that being said, I hope I've been informative. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later with another video. Okay, bye.